Chapter 279 of Shrimadbhagavatam, Uddhava's Grief. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The purpose for which the Lord had assumed the form of Krishna had been served. Mother Earth had been relieved of the burden which had been oppressing her. The great war fought on the field of Kurukshetra for 18 days had caused the annihilation of the entire clan of the lusty Kshatriyas, and the earth had been drenched with their blood. On this soil the Lord had sown the seed of Dharma. The denizens of the heavens, led by Brahma, came down to the earth and went to the presence of Krishna and said, "My Lord, come back to where you belong. Come back to us. For 125 years you have been on this earth. Putana served to be the Nandi for the cleansing ritual. Putana served to be the Nandi for the cleansing ritual which you had undertaken. Now that it has been accomplished, please come back to Vaikunta." Krishna spoke in a soft and gentle voice, but they could detect the firmness behind it. He spoke with a faraway look in his eyes. He was looking, they thought, into the future and not at the past and the many achievements of his which they had been enumerating. There was a sad and pained look in his eyes, but his voice was firm when Krishna said, "My dear ones, my purpose is still not fulfilled. Once, years back, all of you came to me and asked me to rid the world of the poisons which were choking her. I came down to the earth, as you know, and I have almost completed the task you set me." Krishna paused for a long moment and continued, "But it is not complete. Look around you, and what do you see? Can you not perceive that the mighty Yadava clan is still alive? These proud, arrogant, powerful, and lusty Yadavas resemble the mighty ocean which is held in check by me. Only I can hold them in check. Once I go, they will be the cause of the corruption of the entire human race. Their sinfulness will increase by leaps and bounds, and all the good work I have done these many years will be in vain. The Yadavas, powerful as they are, will certainly corrupt the world if they are allowed to thrive. I have to be here to prevent the destruction of Dharma on the earth. But then, the end of the Yadava is very near. The curse of the Brahmins will soon come true. When the Yadavas are no more, I will be ready to abandon this world of men." Narada, and only Narada, could detect the weariness in the voice of Krishna as he said this. The celestials returned to their abode and Krishna sat silent, lost in a reverie. Dread omens could be seen in the skies, and the people were afraid that a great calamity was imminent. Krishna collected his people around him in the great hall by name Sudharma, and he spoke to them in a persuasive manner. He told them about how afraid he was of portents. He reminded them of the curse of the Brahmins which was pronounced long ago. Krishna continued, "Let us all go to Prabhasa, which is sacred to my Lord Shankara. In the days of the long ago, Shankara is said to have cured Chandra of a wasting disease which had visited him as a result of the curse of Daksha, his father-in-law. Let us go there and offer prayers to the Lord, bathe in the pure waters, feed the poor, and, by and large, wash away our sins by performing good deeds, and we can thus avert the calamity which seems to be threatening our entire race. Let us not waste time." Preparations were being made, and that was when Uddhava, the companion of Krishna, came to him and fell at his feet. He was shedding tears, and Krishna lifted him up. He wiped the tears from the eyes of his friend and asked, "How now, Uddhava? What worries you? Why are you sad?" Uddhava said, "I know everything, my lord. You have decided to destroy the entire Yadava clan. It is to be very soon, and it will be a complete destruction. I know it. But that does not worry me. What worries me is the fact that you will go away after that. You will leave me and go away. Please take me with you. Krishna, I cannot live without you. Ever since the day you came to Mathura and killed Kamsa, I have been with you and I have never been away from you even for a moment. I want to be with you forever. Please take me with you. You are right, said Krishna with a grim smile. Every word you spoke is true. The Yadavas will be destroyed in a week from today. On the seventh day, this Dwaraka, this beautiful city, will be covered by the sea, and nothing will be left except the memory of it. But then, Uddhava, you cannot come with me. You have to live in this world of men. The world needs you. Abandoning all desires, you must walk about in the world of men, telling them about the Brahma Vidya which you have to master. Krishna then taught him the great truth by recounting to him the story of the Avadhuta and his teachings to King Yadu. Krishna realized that it was not enough. The teaching had to be more detailed and more explicit, and more detailed and more intense. The examples given by the Avadhuta and the lessons which had been garnered from them had not been enough to drive home the truth to Uddhava. Krishna therefore decided to teach him the Atma Vidya in detail. Krishna said, Uddhava, be devoted to me. Surrender yourself to me, and in that state of mind, perform your daily duties and other duties. There should always be one thought in your mind. There should be no desire for any rewards for these actions of yours. Cleanse your mind with these selfless actions and cultivate a serenity of mind. This serenity is got by the realization that only sorrows result from actions which are performed with a desire for happiness. This serenity is got by the realization that only sorrow results from actions which are performed with a desire for happiness. Krishna paused for a moment since he realized that Uddhava was looking puzzled. I do not understand, said the disciple. Please elaborate on this, Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnar Pranamast. Chapter 280 of Shrimadbhagavatam. The Requisites. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Consider the dream world, said Krishna. When a man is dreaming, several events take place. Man goes through the many travails of sorrow, or he reaches the very pinnacles of ecstasy. He is happy or he is sad, and he is both. But when he wakes up, the entire dream world melts away, and he knows now that it was all a figment of his imagination, and there was, in reality, no sorrow, nor was there any happiness. Even so, consider this world to be very much like the world of dreams, conjured up by the dreamer. Again, think of a man who indulges in daydreaming. All his many unfulfilled desires sprout wings, and they seem to have all come true in this state of his mind. This process of thinking is called Manoratha, the chariot of the mind. Actually, not one of the experiences of the daydreamer is real, but they are all fabrications of the mind. Even so, this world is made up of neither sorrow nor happiness, neither pleasure nor pain. If you school your mind to think on this long enough to realize the truth of it, you will be rid of the bondage of karma. The world of plurality is a result of the play of the senses, the indriyas. When they become involved with the sense objects, the world then seems to be full of these feelings made up of the opposites, and a man loses his power of thinking. Hold fast to this one rule. Never act with desire tainting the action. Never act with desire tainting the action. Live in the world like anyone else and behave so too. It is your inside which has to be trained in the path of the Brahman. Cultivate the qualities which are essential for the realization of the Brahman. Ahimsa, which means an unwillingness to hurt anyone or anything. Satyam, which is speaking the truth always. Asateyam, which is not stealing what belongs to another. Asangam, meaning not becoming extremely attached to anyone or anything. The greater the attachment, the greater will be pain when the wrench comes. Never become attached to anyone. Lajja is the other requisite quality. By lajja is meant shame to do actions which are unworthy. Shame even to think of such things. Asanchayam is essential. Never store up anything, since storing up gold and wealth will only lead you away from higher things. Day and night you will think only of hoarding more and more. Avoid it. Astikam is the next quality I recommend. By this is meant a firm faith in the existence of the higher power. Unless this basic faith is present, the rest of the teaching loses all meaning. Brahmacharya has to be practiced. The word has several meanings. The common one being celibacy, a denial to the senses of the pleasures of the body. Maunam is silence. By silence, it is meant, do not talk unnecessarily and do not waste time and words in the company of inferior beings who are driven towards the world of pleasure. Such people are sure to make you follow them. Silence is the most effective weapon to be used against the temptation of talking to these worldly men. Stairyam is a quality which is always needed. To be firm in everything, in your actions, in your words, in your faith, in your convictions. That is stairyam. Kshama is forgiveness. One should have the generosity of the heart to be able to forgive those who have hurt you in different ways. Abhaya is almost synonymous with stairya. Only stairya is a condition of the mind, while abhaya is not only that but also fearlessness, which is prepared to tackle any kind of trouble or opposition in one's faith. One who desires to reach me should have power to look on everything as the same, meaning to him a tree and a blade of grass will look alike, an enemy and a friend will look alike. He will have no desire to own anything. His wife, children, home, land, wealth, kith and kin, none of these will have any special significance for him. When he has realized that the same Brahman dwells in everyone, where then is the possibility of his suffering from the feeling that these things belong to him. The feeling of I and mine would have vanished from the mind of a man who has reached me. This does not mean that he should abandon all these and run away from them. He can be with them by all means. Only he should know how to rise above them. He should be beyond their reach mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Consider fire and its nature. It is lodged inside a piece of wood. As long as it is inside the piece of wood, it assumes all the qualities of the wood. Its length, its thickness, its color, its nature in every way. But then, it is not part of the wood in reality. It is a thing apart. This apparent identity of the fire with the piece of wood is very much like the world of Maya, illusion which we live in. The Atman, which in reality is a thing apart from the body it dwells in, which is different from the body it dwells in, seems to be one with the body, and this feeling is nurtured in the mind of man since he is ignorant, since the veil of avidya, ignorance of the reality, the truth, has enveloped his power of thinking. His awareness will begin when he knows how to shed the cloak of darkness. The world of illusion will now disappear, even as the fire in the wood, which has the power, once it is manifested, to destroy the wood completely and glow in its own glory. And when the wood has ceased to burn, when nothing of the wood remains, this same fire will, on its own accord, vanish, leaving behind no trace of its presence. Even so, the Atman, which has been trapped inside this equipment make up of the body, mind and intellect, will never again appear as the inhabitant of this body, but will become one with the Absolute, with the Brahman. The Jivatma will have no existence after this awakening. The Atman is self-luminous. It is pure awareness. It is eternal. But the so-called life, defined by the performance of actions and other similar things, comprising the behavior of a human being, is because of the fact that there is a body which is enveloping the Atman. Remember, Uddhava, the Atman is the only truth and all the rest is false. With this conviction in your mind, abandon all the things of this world, even your affection for me which brings sorrow at the thought of parting from me. Consider me as something apart from this garb which I have donned and which goes by the name Krishna. I am the Brahman. Realizing that, cultivate detachment and you will easily learn to see the truth. In this world of men, no man is able to get what he wants. Man who is a slave to actions, to the sway of the emotions which grant pleasure and pain, is never free. It is only those who know the real nature of the world of Maya who are ever happy. A simple fact will be enough to prove this to you. Anyone who claims to have found a panacea for all pains and to have discovered the elixir which will grant continued happiness is still, in truth, helpless. Since he has not been able to find a cure for the greatest pain of all, death. When death is ever by the side of a man born in this world, how can the things of the world grant him happiness? It is like offering perfumed sandal paste and beautiful garlands of flower to a man who is being led to the hangman's rope. There are those who performed yagas and yagnas. Many perform yagnas, and because he has pleased Indra, he reaches Swarga. Man performs yagna, and because he has pleased Indra, he reaches Swarga, the abode of the gods. As a consequence of his accumulated punya, man is able to move about in the heavens as one among the devas. Dressed in delicate silks and wandering around in chariots made of silver and gold, he has the company of the damsels who are part of the court of Indra. The Gandharvas sing his praises, and his ears have become so attuned to the music of the tiny bells on the anklets of the women around him that he is not able to hear the inner voice inside him which tries to tell him that even all this is false. With the passage of time, the punya he has acquired on the earth becomes less and less. Finally, when it is all exhausted, man is pushed down to the earth and the cycle begins all over again. The human body and the actions performed by a human being who is ignorant of the truth about the human body led him again and again into the same path. Lead him again and again into the same path. Happiness, in the real sense of the word, will never be his. This involvement in the world of action goes by the name pravritti. The man who is absorbed in this pravritti will never reach me. The only cure for this is the opposite, nivritti. Nivritti is turning away from the so-called labyrinth formed by the so-called pleasures of the world, since they are not pleasures. Remember, the indriyas, the sense organs, perform the actions and not the Atman presiding over them. It is because of his inherent guna, whether it is sattva or rajas or tamas, that man behaves as he does. He goes through the cycle of the opposites, pleasure and pain, happiness and sorrow, and this is because of the play of the gunas and the indriyas and of course the world of objects around him. So long as the ego, the ahamkara, is present, the Atman in man gets deluded in the world of plurality. When such is the case, is it any wonder that man is ever a slave to others? The feelings of I and mine, which are twins residing in the mind of man, make him move away from me and get more and more involved in the world of pain. Uddhava, if you desire to reach me, you should first learn this lesson. There is only one truth, the Brahman. This world and its many beautiful, fascinating, absorbing objects is but a snare to trap the Atman, which is really untrammeled, but which deludes itself into thinking that it is bound. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnarpanamastu.